If your idea of a snack is the king's...
Taylor, we've also been hearing a lot about the idea of shrinkflation.
Even though inflation is going down, shrinkflation appears to be back on the rise.
Remember when snack bags were full, candy bars hefty, and ice cream tubs felt like a treat for the whole family? Today, those sizes are shrinking quietly while prices stay the same. This video explores the sneaky history of shrinkflation, how grocery products keep getting smaller, what we lose in the process, and why it matters to all of us. Think of a kid in the 70s ripping open a shiny bag of chips, full to the top. Candy bars so hefty they weighed down your hand. Ice cream tubs are big enough to last a whole week. Back then, groceries weren't just food, they were in abundance. Now fast forward, that same chip bag? Half air. Candy bars that vanish in a few bites. Ice cream tubs quietly slim down. But the price? Still the same. That's shrinkflation. More money, less product. Sneaky, right? But here's the real question. Have you ever grabbed a snack and thought, wait, didn't this used to be bigger? Back in post-war America, the grocery store wasn't just about food. It was about abundance. Families stocked up on boxes that felt full, tubs that lasted all week, and candy bars so hefty they filled your hand. Bigger wasn't just better, it was proof of prosperity, a sign that life was moving forward after years of rationing. Ice cream came in those solid half-gallon bricks of joy. Cereal boxes stood tall and heavy, and shopping carts brimmed with promise. By the 60s and 70s, this abundance had become a cultural ritual. Grocery brands weren't just selling food, they were selling identity and lifestyle. Walk down an aisle and you'd see cereal boxes lined up like trophies, cartoon mascots fighting for kids' attention, candy bars boasting king size, and ice cream tubs proudly labeled for the whole family. Commercials didn't whisper about value, they shouted about plenty, painting grocery shopping as a weekly event where families loaded carts, kids begged for prizes hidden in cereal, and everyone shared in the joy of more. It wasn't just what you bought, it was how it felt. Grocery shopping meant security, togetherness, and the thrill of plenty. A candy bar that filled your palm, a cereal bowl that nearly overflowed. Those weren't just snacks, they were memories. That expectation of big equals better didn't just stick around, it flourished. By the 1970s and 80s, grocery shopping had entered what many call the golden era. Brands weren't just selling products anymore. They were selling lifestyles, identities, and a sense of belonging. Step into a supermarket from that time and you'd immediately see it. Bright boxes of cereal lined up like trophies, each louder than the last, competing for kids' attention with cartoon mascots and promises of prizes hidden inside. Candy bars boasted king size on their wrappers, as if eating one was an act of pure indulgence. And ice cream? It wasn't just dessert. It came in proudly labeled half-gallon tubs, a symbol of family togetherness sitting cold and heavy in every freezer. The advertising was just as bold. Commercials told parents they were providing family-sized value. Jingles celebrated the joy of abundance, and marketing painted every trip to the grocery store as a kind of weekly ritual. Mom pushing the cart, kids sneaking treats inside, dad grabbing the bigger, better product. This was the picture of American prosperity. But it wasn't only about what people bought, it was about how it felt. Grocery shopping meant security, comfort, and the joy of plenty. Do you remember the thrill of pouring a cereal bowl so full it nearly overflowed? Or peeling back the wrapper of a candy bar that actually filled your hand? Those weren't just snacks, they were memories, rituals, even milestones of childhood. This was the promise grocery giants delivered on. More for your money, more for your family, more for your life. But promises have a way of being broken, and soon, the cracks in this world of plenty began to show. But golden ages never last forever. By the late 1970s and rolling into the 1980s, something began to rattle that comforting picture of plenty. Inflation. Prices on everything from gas to groceries started creeping upward, and companies faced a tough decision. Either raise prices and risk angering loyal customers, or find another way to protect their bottom line. That's when the quiet, sneaky shift began. Instead of hiking prices outright, many brands chose a subtler route. Shrink the product, keep the price the same, and hope nobody notices. Thus, shrinkflation was born. The changes were small at first, almost invisible. Chip bags began to carry more air than chips. Candy bars, once hearty, palm-filling snacks, started looking slimmer, thinner, and gone in just a few bites. Even the ice cream tub, that sacred half-gallon symbol of family abundance, quietly slimmed down to 1.75 quarts, and then to even less. Packaging design became part of the trick. Boxes grew taller but thinner, making them look just as big on the shelf. Bright, bold lettering on the front shouted, "New," or "Family size," while the actual weight of the product shrank in fine print tucked away in the bottom corner. It was a sleight of hand worthy of a magician, except the disappearing act was happening right in your grocery cart. For families used to equating bigger with better, this was a subtle betrayal. Yet for many, it slipped under the radar. After all, who pulls out a ruler to measure a candy bar, or remembers down to the ounce how heavy their cereal box used to feel? Which begs the question, have you ever grabbed your favorite snack, taken that first bite, and thought, by the time the 2000s rolled around, shrinkflation had become less of a clever trick and more of a standard play in the corporate playbook? But companies didn't stop there. They paired shrinkflation with another tactic that messes with our wallets just as effectively: psychological pricing. You've seen it everywhere. Products priced at 99 cents, $2.99, $4.99. These magic numbers feel cheaper than the next whole dollar, even though the difference is just a penny. Grocery stores know this, and brands lean on it heavily. Instead of charging $5.29 for a tub of ice cream, they'll shrink it slightly and keep it locked at that comforting $4.99. The container looks familiar, the price feels stable, but the value is quietly slipping away. Take cereal, for example. Boxes today might stand taller than before, but they're noticeably slimmer, holding fewer ounces. Toilet paper rolls? They may advertise mega or super, but look closely. You're often getting fewer sheets per roll. Candy bars, once so thick they felt like a mini-meal, now vanish in just a few bites. And here's the truth. Companies aren't doing this because they enjoy redesigning packaging. They're doing it because we, as consumers, are far more likely to notice a sudden price hike than a subtle size change. $1 more on the shelf sparks outrage. A few missing ounces? That often slips right under the radar. So here's the question. Do you remember when a candy bar actually felt like a meal? Something you could savor instead of finishing in 2 bites? If so, you've already seen the $4.99 trick in action. The $4.99 trick shows how cleverly companies play with perception. But shrinkflation isn't all about losses. In some ways, it's been disguised under the banner of convenience. Packaging today often comes with resealable zippers, individually wrapped servings, and designs that fit neatly into smaller kitchen cabinets. Single-serve packs are easy to toss into lunchboxes, and slim bottles slide effortlessly into fridge doors. On the surface, it feels like progress. But progress came with a price. For every resealable bag, we've lost something harder to replace: trust. Families once believed that family size meant value and plenty, not fewer ounces wrapped in brighter packaging. Where we once saw generosity, we now see carefully calculated portions. And that feeling of abundance, the thrill of a cereal box that seemed bottomless, or an ice cream tub that lasted the whole week, has been chipped away bit by bit. Think about it. Kids once sat around the breakfast table, reading the back of cereal boxes covered in games and puzzles. Now, the boxes are smaller, the servings fewer, and the fun is gone before the week's even over. That's not just less cereal, it's less childhood magic. So here's the question. Did convenience really make up for what we lost? Of course, you can only take so much away before people start noticing. The erosion of abundance, once hidden in the fine print, has finally begun to spark outrage. And in today's world, outrage travels fast. Social media has become a great amplifier of consumer frustration. Viral posts and memes now call out brands with side-by-side photos. Yesterday's family-size ice cream tub next to today's shrunken imposter, or a toilet paper roll that used to feel hefty, now looks more like a travel-sized version. That online backlash has had real consequences. Some companies have faced lawsuits and even government probes over deceptive packaging. Regulators are beginning to ask tougher questions about what counts as fair disclosure. And in response, shoppers are adapting. Bulk retailers like Costco and Sam's Club have seen surges in loyalty from families who feel they're getting real value in a world of shrinking shelves. Interestingly, some brands have tried to flip the script by leaning into nostalgia. Throwback packaging, limited edition true half-gallons, or retro king-size bars have popped up, not just as a marketing gimmick, but as a nod to consumer demand for honesty and abundance. The hopeful message is clear. Consumers aren't powerless. Every complaint, every viral post, every shift to bulk buying sends a signal. The question is, will enough people push back to truly change the way companies play this game, or will shrinkflation keep finding new ways to sneak under our noses? But even with all this pushback, the story of shrinkflation is bigger than lawsuits, memes, or retro labels. It's the story of how abundance slipped through our fingers. From the overflowing chip bags and cereal boxes of the golden grocery age to today's carefully portioned value packs, we've watched shelves transform, quietly, almost imperceptibly, until the joy of plenty became the frustration of less. Shrinkflation isn't just about ounces lost or dollars stretched. It's about the memories tied to those extra scoops of ice cream, the trust we placed in brands, and the little traditions, like reading the back of a cereal box during breakfast, that don't quite feel the same anymore. Something cultural, almost sacred, has been chipped away. And here's where you come in. What was the first product you noticed shrinking? Was it a candy bar that didn't fill your hand anymore? A box of cereal that seemed lighter? Or that tub of ice cream that suddenly disappeared too fast? Shrinkflation has touched nearly everyone's grocery cart, but your story makes the history real. Drop a comment below. What's the product that shocked you the most when it suddenly felt smaller? Was it the candy bar, the cereal box, or that family-sized snack bag that barely lasted a night? If you love diving into the stories behind the foods that shaped America, hit subscribe and stick with us. We're uncovering the truths hidden behind labels and the memories they quietly reshape. And that's all about it. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up. And if you like more updates, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so you don't miss any videos and get notifications on time.